So now we're actually going to be circling back to this sort of topic a little later on when I get to
Yeah.
some listener questions. We actually got a couple of great emails to the fanboy podcast at gmail.com. But for now, we're going to move on and we're going to go over to a galaxy far, far away because, Brett, this week we got our first look at Obi-Wan Kenobi. Remember, this is something that's been rumored for years. For years and years, ever since the relaunch of Star Wars, there's been this talk of like, will Ewan McGregor return to the role of Obi-Wan? Will they find, some new story to tell with him and blah, blah, blah. And at some point it was going to be a movie and then it got scrapped. Like this thing has had its own little interesting development cycle. But now at long last, we've seen a teaser for Obi-Wan. So let me ask you first, what was your reaction?
I mean, I am so excited to see Ewan McGregor return to this role. So I am over the moon. I already from the trailer really like the tone that they're going for. We actually got like a cool little peek too of him kind of spying on young Luke, what looks like young Luke. And we also got a return of Uncle Guy that's played by the Joel something.
Uncle Owen was played by Joel Edgerton.
By Joel Edgerton, thank you.
Yes.
So I really like my version better. Uncle Guy played by Joel.
Uncle Guy played by
my friend Joel. Our friend Joel. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited for it. I love it. Like what they showed so far. The only thing is, and this is my own fault, I have a little bit of a blind spot with like the Clone Wars, and there were definitely some characters in there that looked like some kind of Sith or something.
Oh yeah, like that main villain who's looking for him.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's definitely from the Clone Wars or something, and I need to.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you. I've never seen the Clone Wars. I don't know any of the like extended stuff that happened around the prequel trilogy. I know that there's been like through animation, Dave Filoni really kind of built out that mythology a bit.
It's the Filoni-verse now.
It's the Filoni-verse.
It is the Filoni-verse.
But I'm unfamiliar with all of it, so it might have gone over my head too. But for me, when I saw the teaser and I heard the music, like they brought back Duel of the Fates, and we know John Williams came up with the theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi here too. So John Williams is coming out of retirement. So hearing Duel of the Fates, it took me back to this great quote I was recently pointed to from Filoni about what that song even means. Have you heard about this? Well, why the score that takes place in the climactic battle of episode 1 is called Duel of the Fates?
I feel like I may have come across something.
Okay, well stop me. I say don't stop me at all. I'm just going to remind you what it is.
Can I stop you right here?
Filoni pointed out that it's called Duel of the Fates because they are fighting for the two different ways Anakin's future can go, his two fates. If Qui-Gon wins this duel and he gets to train Anakin's going to go a certain route because he understands Anakin and he's the one who went to bat for him against the council. He's the one who believes that this kid, even though it's late for him and he's been hurt, I can teach him. He goes out on a whim for him, right? Yeah. But then what happens? It goes the other way. The other fate is he gets trained by Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan doesn't quite have his heart in it at first. And if you remember, things are a little bit, he takes on this unlikely responsibility, but he himself is a young Jedi. And you could almost see like this leads to why Anakin goes bad eventually, because Qui-Gon was really the one who was supposed to be his mentor. Right. So the Duel of the Fates, they're fighting for Anakin's future in a way in the Duel of the Fates. And that's what that song means. So when they do that, and then the whole thing begins with the phrase, "We lost," that grabbed me right away, because as excited as I've been about this series, there's always the cynical part of me that's like, I wonder what angle they're going to take. It might just be like a cash grab and they're trying to appeal to my nostalgia. I doubt that there's like a killer hook or anything. Right. But the fact that they're building it around "we lost," that suddenly to me grounds this in an interesting context. I didn't think they would go that way, but it does make sense. Revenge of the Sith, what happens at the end of episode 3 is the Jedi are annihilated. And not just that, but Obi-Wan himself suffered a personal loss in that Anakin, his student, led to this huge thing, the taking of power by Palpatine and all this bloodshed, and he killed the younglings. Like
Yeah.
the fact
And he's
that
not only his student, but like his like best friend.
yeah, yeah,
Which I know is built out even more in the Clone Wars series. Like
yeah.
you see that, but like that's his right hand man, really.
Yeah, and honestly, but like that idea of like grounding this story in the fact that, oh, we lost, and we're the good guys who are supposed to come away victorious at the end of these big things, and we're about to find a broken Jedi who has to deal with the loss of his entire order while looking on the orphan, the kid of the father that he failed. It's like, wait a minute, there is some heft to this story. There is an angle to this that's going to make it kind of riveting. And for an actor of McGregor's caliber, I'm hooked now. Honestly, they had me with the music and
the music was, I mean, the music was fucking fire.
Yeah,
I mean that had me. So
yeah,
this is the first Star Wars show to also now take place of the new, I should say, the first Star Wars show of the new, range of shows to take place before the original trilogy. So far, Boba Fett, Mando have been after and before the new trilogy. So that's also interesting to go back to this point, in live action,
Yep. And just seeing him in the beard again and seeing him, it was great. It was great. I thought it was cool too. At the end of the teaser, sometimes at the end, like it's become like a cliche now, but like after the big final thing, there's one final shot and then the teaser and then the logo. I like that, like the big final shot they go to is just him with his beard. Because it's like they know like that is the thing that fans have been dying to see. He is the special effect. People just want to see Ewan McGregor back as Kenobi. That was the big
say for a teaser too, it was pretty. I mean, listen, I'm sure people that are like know who that villain is are probably like real hype, but I didn't have that attachment. You know what I mean? Like, I heard a little Vader or something, then I would have been, really, really.
They're saving Vader entirely. He wasn't at all in there. Yeah.
Supposedly, we're supposed to see something with them, and that's what I'm really excited for. But I totally lost my train of thought now with this. But I was going to say is they were kind of reserved. With the teaser, I mean, you didn't really see Obi-Wan do anything. There was no him with the lightsaber doing any cool moves and stuff. So I imagine we will see him do some badass stuff. But I appreciated that they held it back.
These Star Wars shows, I mean, they always have these like aces up their sleeve that they don't promote, right? Because in The Mandalorian, who knew that this was going to bisect with Luke Skywalker? Who knew that the Grogu story was going that way, right? Yeah. And in Book of Boba Fett, through like 5 episodes, who knew that suddenly this is going to suddenly go and connect again to Skywalker and Mando and all that.
Yeah.
So, I can't wait to see what surprises they have up their sleeve for Kenobi here, because they really didn't show us a hell of a lot, and we know for a fact that Hayden Christensen's in the cast, that they have at least one other lightsaber battle against one another. So let's see how they unveil all that. I cannot wait. Do we have a release date for that? Do you know
and we do at the end of the trailer. I think May 15th.
Oh wow. Okay, so
I'm not mistaken,
and that's how it should be. Star Wars in May. May the 4th
May 15th or May 25th. It was like one of the 5. I don't know.
All right, good.